الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره، نعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا، من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء، واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم، ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله، وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، فإن كل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة، وكل ضلالة في النار، وإنما توعدون لآت وما أنتم بمعجزين. The subject for our khutbah today is something very, very important. It's a subject that is needed for every Muslim, male and female. Doesn't matter what country you live in or you came from. And is needed for every day's business and every day's meeting. is something so important, although that most of us doesn't give it too much concern or attention. The talk, speech, communication, talking with one another is something very important. And the important and the beauty of Islam, that Islam didn't leave any issue related to our life or to the hereafter other than told us something about it. There is no any issue or anything that you need as a Muslim to know about or to act upon in this life or for the hereafter, other you find it something in Islam about it. To such a degree that the Prophet ﷺ even taught us how to use the bathroom. There is something that shows us the seriousness of the language, the communication, the way how we relate to each other, the saying, the speech, communicating is something very important. In Surah Al-Isra, Surah 17, verse number 53, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala given us very direct and very important command. And he's saying, وَقُلْ لِعِبَادِي يَقُولُ الَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ إِنَّ الشَّيْطَانَ يَنزِغُ بَيْنَهُمْ. وَقُلْ لِعِبَادِي يَقُولُ الَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ إِنَّ الشَّيْطَانَ يَنزَغُ بَيْنَهُمْ إِنَّ الشَّيْطَانَ كَانَ لِلْإِنسَانِ عَدُوًّا مُبِينًا. The same way Allah ordered us to pray, to fast, to make Hajj, Allah is telling us about something that we do it every day, every minute, every second. We speak, we talk day and night, but there is a different way of talking. And here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say, and say to my slaves. So now if you are Muslim, if you are a true believer, you need to pay attention to this, because Allah is saying, say to my slaves, say to my ibad, say to those people who choose and took me as a master, as a God, as a source of information and direction and discipline. If you choose Allah to be your ma'bud, and you worshiping Allah, so Allah is giving you a very important subject to talk about it. He say to my slave, to my slaves, what? يَقُولُ الَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ. That they should only say those words that are the best. We speak a lot, but Allah wants us when we talk that we make a selection, because the words, how we going to relate it. It's so easy to open your mouth, but it's not that easy to select and to choose your words. Do you know why? We always rush. You rush for what? You slow down, you say the right word, and take 2 and 3 minutes more in your conversation, better than going fast and damaging. Think that your tongue almost like a gun, and if you pull the trigger, you're going to kill or hurt the person in front of you. It's very important. Nobody's stopping you to talk, but Allah wants you to watch what you're saying. And we understand when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala order us to do something, there is a hardship company with this. there is any command that Allah telling you, there is a hardship that you have to exhaust some, and you have to pay attention. You have to exert more energy to do it. It's easy to sleep, but when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala telling you to get up, it's easy to keep walking and talking, but when Allah saying to you stop and think and reflect, all this obligation, it require attention from us. So by our own nature we talk day and night. Allah is not stopping you to talk, but Allah wants you to select your words. يقول التي هي أحسن. And أحسن is a صيغة تفضيل. Is something that is not even Allah saying that say what is good, but say what is better. There is good and there is better. So Allah is not saying to you, say what is good. Allah is saying, say what is better. So now Allah is not telling you, watch what He's saying, but He's saying to you, watch what you're saying, and select your word and say the best. So if there is a way to choose between words, and subhanallah, look to this hundreds and thousands of students every year, coming from overseas, coming from here and there, and they're going to TOEFL. They're going to study English. And there is many words in English. And you can say door, you can say exit, you can say again, but selection of the word will give more accuracy. I'm not a student in USC, but I have an idea and I know the impact of different words and the selection of the words and how people sit for almost a whole years and they did not pass the TOEFL. Why? They need a special way to talk, to be more accurate. So if we think about talking, is something in Islam very important. Allah said, يَقُولُ الَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ. Why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala so concerned about the way how we talk and we select in our words? Because Allah cares about you. Because Allah knows that the enemy is standing there. And Allah saying, إِنَّ الشَّيْطَانَ يَنْزِغُ بَيْنَهُمْ. Because out of the speech and during the conversation, this is the moment your enemy standing there to bring about problems between you and your brother, between you and your wife, between you and the imam, between you and so and so. So this is the moment when we are talking. We're going to talk fast and we don't know what we're saying, and the next thing we arguing, we're raising our voice, we may be cursing one another, we may be even fighting. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, إِنَّ الشَّيْطَانَ يَنْزَغُ بَيْنَهُمْ. So this is the reason that you need to select your words and your talk. Because shaitan verily sows a state of conflict and disagreements among them. Surely shaitan is to man a plain enemy. So this is the moment when you're talking. When there is a disagreement, and now if you are not going to watch how and when and how you're saying, this disagreement is going to be a conflict. It's going to be a war next day. It's going to be something else that you are not even thinking about it. But Allah knows about our weakness. Allah knows about our enemies. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in advance teaching you and discipline you about a special manner when you're talking. Therefore, my dear respected brothers and sisters, we as a community, when we get together, when Muslims get together, or when family gets together, when brothers and sisters, when a husband and wife, when the children and the father or the mother, they get together, this is another opportunity that the shaitan getting more closer and watching. Therefore, it is very important that we did not go fast with our talk, and we can be slowing down and think about what we're saying. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala telling us the nature of the shaitan, that a clear open enemy for mankind. So now you will give opportunity to your enemy to take over. How? That you are not saying the best. How to say the best? By slowing down. This is all what it takes. The khutbah never been intended to be a time for lecturing or a time to give you details. It is a time to remind you. But you as a concerned Muslim, you need, when you go home, you go search more and understand more and to try to see there is adab. There is something very important in Islam that Allah concerned about it. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has set the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to be a good example for us concerning adab. And Allah said, وَإِنَّكَ لَعَلَى خُلُقٌ عَظِيمٌ. Indeed, you Muhammad is the best manner, the best behavior, the best adab and discipline. So adab is something essential in Islam. In everything. And you found when you read in the books of fiqh or the books of seerah or books of hadith, you found about adab, a lot of adab. A lot of adab. You found the adab of entering the bathroom, the adab of communication, the adab and the discipline of disagreements, the adab of walking in the street, everything. So adab. And when a ummah or a nation lose adab, discipline, respect, doing the proper things under the name of freedom, leave the person do whatever he wants. Exactly like 5 o'clock, rush hour, and you know traffic lights and say, this is freedom, let everybody drive. Let everybody do whatever he wants. Freedom can be a damage under the name of freedom. Depending who's using the word, for what reasons they use it, and we can call everything is a freedom. But Islam is a religion of slavery, but not a slavery for a man. Is a name, is a religion of slavery to your creator. The one who knows your nature, giving you direction. Because Allah knows how serious is your tongue. And in the hadith of Mu'adh radiallahu anh, when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave him advice, what was the advice about? Kuff alayka hada. Watch for this. He took his tongue and he said, watch for this. Is this the nasiha? Yes. Say, O Prophet of Allah, وَإِنَّ لَمُؤَاخَذُونَ بِمَا نَتَكَلَّمُ بِهِ. Are we going to be questioned about what we saying? ثَكَلَتْكَ أُمُّكَ يَا مُعَاذ. وَهَلْ يَكُبُّ النَّاسُ فِي النَّارِ عَلَى وُجُوهِهِمْ إِلَّا حَصَائِدُ أَلْسِنَتِهِمْ. The main thing that cause people falling in hellfire on their faces, nothing except as a result of their tongue. Their tongue. To such a degree that the Prophet ﷺ saying that whosoever grantee for me his tongue and his private parts, I will guarantee him Jannah. Subhanallah. So half of your way to be in Jannah, watching for your tongue. To such a degree that the Prophet ﷺ gave us a lot of discipline about how to talk, how to listen, how to communicate, how to conversate with others. Again, like I said, this is a khutbah to be a reminder. But let me go quick and tell you something. From the adab and the discipline of conversating with one another or talking with one another, that the Prophet ﷺ is saying what the meaning is, من بدأ بالكلام قبل السلام فلا تجيبوه. Whosoever start with talking before the greeting, don't answer him. A discipline. You have to respect the person, greet the person, smooth the way for conversation. Greet the person. Give the person a chance to greet you back. So you can kill the shaitan right away on the spot before you enter to this conversation. Hey, brother, it says, oh, brother, let me tell you one thing. Hold it. Greet first. Greet the person. Assalamu alaikum. And take the greeting back. Wa alaikum assalam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَقُولُوا لِلنَّاسِ حُسْنًا. And say to the people, He did not say the Muslims, the believers. Nas. And you know there is a distinction in Quran between when Allah say Ya ayyuhan nas and saying Ya ayyuhal ladhina amanu. Some verses Allah said Ya ayyuhan nas. Ya ayyuhan nas u'budu rabbakum. All mankind worship Allah. But when it comes about the believers, there is another talk. Ya ayyuhal ladhina amanu kutiba alaykum as-siyamu kama kutiba ala alladhina min qablikum. So here Allah is saying what? وَقُولُوا لِلنَّاسِ does not have to be a Muslim. Any human being, you have to respect them as a human being. You disagree with him, with her, in their belief, in their ideology, but still there is a way. You are not Allah, you are not going to judge the person. You can advise the person about what they're doing. But Allah says, وَقُولُوا لِلنَّاسِ حُسْنًا, and say to the people what is good. What is good? This is something very important. So there is something good and there is something bad. And you don't know what is good and bad. See, when you go to Food Line, when you go to Walmart, why you take this fabric and leave the other fabric? Why you pick up this hard tomatoes and you leave the other tomatoes? It's something, subhanallah, everybody can know what is good. Even children, they selected the choice, they have the choices and selection about what toys and what they get in. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala telling you to talk to the people in a good way. It is very important that you give a chance to the person who's talking to you to finish. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, even with those people who disagree and disbelieve in him, when they came to them, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam waited. And after this, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, أَفَرَغْتَ يَا أَبَا الْوَلِيدِ قَالَ نَعَمْ قال فاستمع إليه. This kafir came and talked to the Prophet ﷺ about this and that and this and that, and he disagrees that he's not a prophet, everything. The Prophet ﷺ waited until he finished. He said, are you finished? Yes. Okay, it's my turn now, let me talk. Musa alayhi salam, what Fir'aun? Fir'aun told him, I think you have a crazy idea. You're a madman. Nuh, they told him he got astray. The prophets of Allah, did any of them return back, say, you are the foolish one, you are the crazy one, you are the stupid one? No. Because you have an intention and you have a target that is very important, that giving names and labeling each other. This what you think I'm crazy? This is your opinion, okay? But I am here for something else. So when Fir'aun said this to Musa, or the Kuffar said to Noah, or to say to Hud, they did not even get into this subject. They went to the main subject that we need to discuss. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, لا خير في كثير من نجواهم. There is no good in too much talk of what they talk in a conversation. So that means when we talk, we have to be considerate to the people's time. You don't keep talking and right and left and this and that. Come direct to the point. It is very important that we don't talk about everything that we hear. And the Prophet ﷺ is saying, كَفَى بِالْمَرْءِ كَذِبًا أَنْ يُحَدِّثَ بِكُلِّ مَا سَمِعَ. أو كما قال صلى الله عليه وسلم. It is enough lying. That means instead of you talking, you became a liar. How? Because you narrated and you're saying everything you heard. And somebody said this and somebody said, how do you know that so and so is right about what they said? So you could not go and collect everything and come drop it in somebody's head. I said, listen, and so said and so and so. Did you verify this? Did they try to make sure that it's happening? Did you see it? Did you know it? Especially with time of so-called internet and modern technology. You go to the Facebook and you see all the trash and the garbage that even with Muslims. And after this, a person copied it to their page, to the other page, and the other person. Somebody said, I take a photocopy, understand, or a photocopy of what the person said. But you are narrating somebody who said and somebody said to say. You see? And what is the purpose? Are we a ummah of talking? Why we have too much time we're spending on the internet? This shows you that you did not really have anything better to do. other than gossiping, other than wasting your time, other than feeding the shaitan to destroy the relationship among the Muslims and houses and husbands and wives. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us that we need to limit our talk. Too much talk is not good. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is saying, "Man kana yu'minu billahi wal yawmil akhir falyakul khayran aw liyasmut." Like I always repeat and say to you, we are not being created to be a TV station. You are not a broadcast system that you have to be talking day and night. A Muslim select his words, and a Muslim is quiet more than he's talking. So if you don't have something good to talk, be quiet, because this became a form of worship when you be quiet. You talk right, this is a form of worship. You don't have something good to say that you're going to be quiet, because this is the order of the Prophet ﷺ. Now we are worshiping Allah by being quiet. It's very important that we be careful when we talk, that we did not get angry. And if you find yourself getting angry, it's not the time to continue talking, because this is the best time for the shaitan to jump in. Don't raise your voice. Don't raise your voice. When you're raising your voice, you lost yourself. You lost your point. You don't have anything else to give other than to start shouting, because you could not find a way to convince the person. It's not going to help. You start to shout, he will start to shout. You move your hand, he start to move your... And after this, what's going to happen? And the Prophet ﷺ gives the best advice. La taghdab. Don't get angry. Don't get angry. Slow down. Do not... You find yourself in conversation that you can tell you're getting to the point, it's getting hot. It's not, excuse me, I'm sorry, but does not have to be disrespectful. Don't keep walking out from the people, but in a nice way, excuse me, I'm sorry, I have to go, but I promise, I'm coming back. I will talk to you tonight. I have to go. Please forgive me, I don't mean any disrespect. I don't have to tell anybody this. Who should think or who will think? No. Think nothing. It shows you how good you are. It shows how respectable you are. I say, I'm sorry, but I have a problem, okay? And excuse me, I'm getting angry. I have to go, but I will talk about it later. Nothing wrong. It's nothing wrong. Don't always think that, no, I am good. Yes, I can keep talking. Yes, I can. Yes, you can. And see what's going to happen after 5 minutes. It's not you anymore. The shaitan is working there. So we have to understand that we need to slow down. And we don't get angry. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَغْضُضْ مِنْ صَوْتِكَ, and lower your voice. In general, can you imagine in discussion and dispute? Allah say, وَغْضُضْ مِنْ صَوْتِكَ. Subhanallah, Islam talking about your voice. Say, lower your voice. And if you don't want to lower your voice, listen to this. إِنَّ أَنْكَرَ الْأَصْوَاتِ لَصَوْتُ الْحَمِيرِ. So, do not take this label. Remember this. Maybe this will help you. Allah says the worst kind of voice is the voice of the donkey. The donkey. You don't want to be a donkey. You don't want to be shouting. You don't want to understand this term with the people once they make in salah. You don't want to understand to make a big scene for everybody. Allah says, lower your voice. But if it's not helping, remember the continuation of the verse. Indeed, the worst kind of voice is what? Sawt al-Hamir. The donkey make a loud voice, but nothing. The drum, when you hit the drum, it make a big voice, but there is nothing inside the drum. So it shows that you have nothing there to talk about, except loud in your voice. We have to stop getting angry. And we have to stop raising our voice in our discussion. One last thing, because the time is almost, but like I said, is a reminder for you to go and study more. Talk to the people according what they can understand, according to their living. In this part of the teaching of Islam. Talk to the people, خاطب الناس على قدر عقولهم. Talk to the people according to the level of understanding, of maturity, whatever it is. Don't talk to the people in English and their original language in French. They don't understand what you're talking about. But if you mix in some words, at least they will understand. So some people, they are not have a TOEFL. And some people do not go to school. And some people are slower in understanding. And some people, they have a problem in speech. So, and some people are not from Azhar and Islamic University. So you need to bring yourself down to the level that you can relate to the people so they can understand. But for you to show off and to try to see how to show how fast you are and how eloquent you are and how this and how that and how you know how to win the debate, it's not this the issue. But try to see who's the person that you're talking to. If you think the person have a problem, speech problem, or that they're slow in their mind, or they are sleepy, they've been working for 17 hours, this is not the time to keep hitting on them. So consider the person that you're talking to, and this is something very important in Islam. Finally, I said, and like I said, the subject is so big, but I will say that the Prophet ﷺ لم يكن لعانا ولا فاحشا ولا بذيئا. The Prophet ﷺ was not the one who cursed or used foul language. Neither he cursed people. Let's try to remember the Prophet ﷺ when we talk, when we conversate, when we dialogue, when we debate, when we act. My brothers and sisters, this is not for any individual person. This is for me and you, and for the husband and the wife, and for everybody who want to communicate, to try to see the beauty of Islam, teaching us how we're supposed to communicate with each other. الحمد لله رب العالمين وأصلي وأسلم على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين. Last advice I would like to extend. Let's try to select the right time for talking. Let's try to select the right place for talking. So everything is fine, akhi. No, it's not fine. It may be fine for you to say it now. There is a time that children going to be, as example, leaving the school. And this is the best time we're going to start the discussion. And now will be a big scene in front of everybody. A person just coming after working night shift, and now is a good time for you to confront the person about what you heard or overheard or what you think. But it's not the good time for the person. So all these things, it will affect our relationship with each other. Again, I will remind myself, as well as my brothers and sisters, that is part of faith. من كان يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر فليقل خيرا أو ليصمت. Whosoever believes in Allah and the day of judgment, let him say something good or be quiet. Try to remember, you as a Muslim, you should be concerned about yourself before others. When we try to fix others, not fixing ourselves, we become so busy with others, how they do, how they talk, how this, how that, and you forget to check your own self. So instead of being occupied about what other people doing or what people said and how people behaving, it's good that you try to spend more time about your own self. And if everybody try to focus in their own self, we can be a better ummah, inshallah. Again, I'm sorry because the time, I have to stop here. But I pray and I hope that everybody will examine and search this subject more, because it's very important for us. If you are a student, a teacher, a husband, a wife, whatever capacity, all of us talks, and we have to know how to say, how to do, and when and where. وَقُلْ لِعِبَادِي يَقُولُ الَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ. But it is command from Allah that we say the best for the people. I'd like to remind you that tomorrow, inshallah, CIC program will be taking place in North Carolina. For those who would like to go, the details on the bulletin boards. We have 3 lectures there, and 2 means everything is free, and you're going to meet the imams of South Carolina and North Carolina. If you have any question or you want discussion, they will be there, inshallah. There is a survey that's going to be distributed outside for effort of some brothers and sisters in the community. They try to bring the school back, the full-time school. Please take a moment to fill it. If you rush, at least take it, fill it, bring it back, and drop it in the charity box so they can continue with their effort, inshallah. One last thing that I want to say, and without any disrespect, but I will say the sisters, specifically, please pay attention. Mosque is closed at 9:30, 9:45 max. We have to secure the mosque, we have to clean the mosque, many things. I know that people like to be hanging around, especially weekend of Friday, especially in the summer, and some families, believe it or not, they stay until 11, 12, waiting for rides, or waiting, you understand, for a cup of tea, or are enjoying the company of each other. But of course, when kids are playing and people sitting, that means the mosque have to be open, people want to go to the bathroom, this and that. Please kindly have to consider that some people come here to open the mosque from 1 o'clock. So they'll be looking for a moment to go get some rest, okay? And we have to secure the place before we go. So please kindly, if Salat al-Isha is over, sisters especially, as well as the brothers also, they make their way out. They don't have to wait for somebody to beg them to leave. And for husband to be concerned also, if you know that your wife waiting for a ride, because you don't want somebody to put your wife out of the building with the children, and after this he says there is no concern and no consideration, no mercy, you put the kids, you put the wife out of the man. Let's be considerate for each other. Let's be concerned for one another. And you have to understand that some people been in the mosque for 12 hours and they want to go home or take care of other business, or they have an appointment with somebody else. So please take this in consideration. And I hate to repeat that advice or this request again, so please keep it in mind. Yaghfirullah li wa lakum. Aqim as-salam.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah.